Last minute shakeup at 5:30 a.m., laundry situation not good. And when your focus is on helping your clients, it's easy to forget about yourself. But NASM knows trainers.
Morning, Ryan. Is okay.
And staying in front of the day isn't always as simple as 1, 2, 3. So when the unexpected has you pressing pause,
What's the latest on creatine?
I'm going to get back to you on that.
let NASM1 help you press play. Visit NASM.org to sign up for a membership today.
You're listening to Random Fit with hosts Wendy Batts and Ken Miller, winner of a Gold Markham Award for Digital Media.
Hello, everyone. I am Wendy Batts here with Ken Miller on Random Fit, and we are super excited about this episode as always. And Ken, how are you?
I am great, Wendy. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Today we are going to talk about small studios and big gains. And this was one of those episodes where Ken and I were talking about our past. And those of you guys that don't know a little bit about how I got started, once we got done with working with some of the teams and traveling, I helped an individual open some small studios out in Arizona where we actually did training. It's a very small kind of boutique-y type place, but we would have up to 5 people come in per session, and everybody was doing individualized exercises. So again, multitasking is a thing, but it was so much fun. We had a lot of benefits of everyone kind of making sure that everyone showed up, and it was one of those kind of moments where you step back after we went through the aches and pains of opening the facility, and then he ended up growing it, where you're thinking, you know what, this was something that we would have never been able to do in a big box gym. And the clients loved it. We had a really good time, but then they also saw their results because it was tailored to exactly what they needed based on their assessments.
And with that being said, and that's kind of what I'm, for those of you that are just listening to Random Fit and don't know anything about me, I have a smaller training facility. So it's about 2,200 square feet. So it's kind of like what Wendy, you described, but maybe a little bit bigger in square footage than what you first did. But it's a facility that caters to independent personal trainers. And the great thing about why I love what I do and where I do it, because one, it's a smaller facility. It's more intimate. I know you see every face that walks through the door, and and the way that I run my business is that if you're a personal trainer in the local area, you need someplace to take your clients. This is one way that you can operate your own personal training business without having to be an employee of a bigger box facility. And especially these days, Wendy, that's where a lot of personal trainers want to be, from that aspect. And we'll talk about different aspects of the smaller studios versus the big box gym. I mean, and the one thing I want to point out, and you and I talked about this, we don't want to mislabel the benefits of going to a bigger facility. When you say big box gym, and I'll probably say that more throughout this episode, but what we are talking about are your UFC, your Crunch, your 24-hour fitnesses, Equinox, and those gyms. There's a lot of great benefits, as we will point out within the course of this podcast. But there's also a lot of benefit to working out in a smaller boutique facility. And those are the things that we want to highlight, because when it comes to, talking to clients and where they want to go with their fitness and performance goals, some of them think, well, I look for a personal trainer. And this is a conversation I had is I was looking for a personal trainer. So they were going into these bigger facilities looking for personal trainers. Well, personal trainers are all over the place. You just kind of have to expand your search when you're going online for personal trainers and not just relegate it to the bigger facility. So that's just one aspect of what we'll talk about when it comes to the idea of small studios and big gains.
Well, and where I work, now, when I go and see clients, I know based on the people that I'm bringing into the gym, they prefer coming to see me at that particular location for multiple reasons. You might guess. I mean, people want to just come in and work out. They don't want to be bothered with a bunch of other people around. And to your point, so when we talk about one of the reasons they love being there is we don't have to wait on equipment. I do work with other independent trainers, and I mean, I can do my manual therapy in one part of the gym, and then we can go and we don't step on each other's toes because it's one of those things that's big enough where I work. It's kind of the size of what you're talking about, Ken, maybe a little bit bigger, but we may have 3 or 4 different trainers in there with our one client.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes very intimate because we get to know the trainers. We get to know a lot about their families. We also start to see their clients coming in. We get to know a lot about them as well. And there's not all these other people. There's not a lot of other stuff going around that may take them away from what they need to focus on in the gym, meaning there's not a ton of different TVs or conversations. And the biggest part is we don't have to wait on equipment. If it's an open gym and it's the bigger gyms that you're talking about, and it's a Monday and we need to do chest because they're only in to see me that one time that week, we may be waiting a while for some of the equipment that I need in order for my client to do what they need to do. So we have to go off to something else and then come back in high hopes that somebody else isn't waiting on whatever piece. And so I think a lot of it is more intimate when it is a smaller boutique. It is sometimes a little more personalized, meaning to what their needs are. Not saying that the personal trainer in a bigger gym isn't being professional and that one-on-one rapport, but just meaning the space itself, meaning they've got more space in order to do some of the things that they need to do. Even though it's a bigger gym, if you go to some of these others that you discussed, they still are maybe cramped because there's a lot of people in there. It's before work, it's after work, it's the busy time of day. There's classes coming in and out. People are passing by. It's just, there's a lot going on sometimes where if you're in a more boutique type gym, you don't have that.
Right. And actually how I've gotten the last 3 out of my 5 clients. There's a busier, bigger facility, a mile and a half from my place, and they are members there, right? But they wanted to get that guidance, that personal training, that individualized programming that you're talking about, Wendy. But not to say anything bad about the credentials of those trainers that are in that facility, but the fact that for the scenario that you painted, Wendy, if they're trying to stretch, they want to do their flexibility routine, foam roll and stretch. They're walking 1 foot away from their head. You know, somebody is walking right by their mat, and that is not a very relaxed. I'm trying to cool down, warm down after my workout, and I want to kind of bring my heart rate down, and I want to kind of reflect on my accomplishments, whatever it is that you go through mentally when you're cooling down. The last thing you want to worry about is somebody tripping and falling on you, or somebody's waiting for the mat that you're using so they can get a stretch in. So they've actually left that gym to come to me for the personal training and their sessions 2-3 times a week. And then they'll do their cardio and all the machine work on their own at the facility. So I'm saying that because we can complement each other, but there is a certain environment that people are looking for if it's a crowded facility, especially in the beginning of the year, Wendy.
Oh,
right.
I know.
In January, they're like, oh man, I paid for a full year's membership and I only use it 2 months. So they want to get in on that at the beginning of the year because everybody's renewed their New Year's resolutions, and so does everybody else. So it's you and every other person within the 10-mile vicinity, and it just gets so crowded. And that's why more than a few people have come over to my facility, because it's I'm gonna say it's quiet. We have music and we have other trainers there, but it's just not crowded.
Right. And I will say I had someone that came to me, and one of their biggest complaints, because they had been working out with trainers at a bigger gym, is like you said, there's a lot of people there, and there are some people that are really sweaty and they don't clean up after themselves, and they were laying on a bench and they just got up, and I was like, okay, I gave them a program to do on their own, and they were like, Wendy, I had to go and try to find something to clean everything before I could even use it, because some people, which is not right, but it happens, don't clean up after themselves. And I don't want to lay in somebody else's sweat, and I don't expect anybody else to either. So I know a lot of times too, having the equipment is one thing. Also keeping clean equipment is really important too. And I just think it also helps with people that are maybe wanting to do more group training. Sometimes if you want to look into a smaller studio, and let's say, Ken, I'm going to use you as an example. We have a trainer that works at our facility as well that will have 3 people sometimes come at the 7 o'clock hour. They're all friends. They're all getting ready to go to work. That's right across the street. And he's able to work with all 3 of them. And it's easier because he has more space. The reason why I bring that up is because when we were opening the facilities that I was telling you about at the start of the show, is if you've got 4 or 5 people and everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and you're showing somebody, they're like, how do you do that? If I set someone up on, let's say, the cable machine, and they're doing a chest press, as soon as I show them how to do that, I look at their form, somebody else is finishing. Okay, now I want you to do lateral 2 blocks. Go grab the band over there, put it around your ankles, and we're going to do it this way. And so I'm looking at how someone's doing the chest press. I've started someone doing the 2 blocks. I've got somebody maybe starting to do walking lunges with rotation. I can see, because it's a smaller facility, of people doing different types of exercises, ensuring that they have proper movement patterns. But the beauty of the reason I bring that up is because it's also cheaper. So I'm not the cheapest trainer out there. However, my hour is my hour. And if I have somebody that comes in, I charge maybe a certain amount for group training versus personal training, meaning one-on-one. But if somebody can split the cost, they may be able to come and see me more. Plus, they are building, they still have their friends there. They're having a good time. They don't get to talk much during our sessions, right, because we keep them moving. However, it's just the accountability that those guys have with one another. If somebody doesn't show up, or they show up late, I don't have to say anything. And I just see them always wanting to come back because they had a good time. They got a really good workout in, but they also didn't have to pay a ton of money in comparison if they were to see me or that one trainer that I was telling you about in the very beginning, one-on-one. It's something too financially that makes sense. So it's a niche that he's done. It's something that I've done, and it works.
And I will say this, for if you're in the Atlanta area, go look up Wendy Batts for some group training, because during the filming of one of our Instagram posts for NASM_fitness, my legs were so sore that oh man, I was sore for 2 days when we did that leg circuit. And so I just want to put that out there. So Wendy is not the cheapest trainer out there, but she is worth every penny. So if I paid for that session, for that one Instagram recording, it would have been worth it. But if you're going to do a group session, and that is one way of keeping things nice and economical, find a friend who has similar goals, hopefully the same fitness level. And again, you go to a boutique studio, it's a lot of times these boutique facilities, you're going to pay by the session. A lot of times there's no memberships. I know there's a place in San Francisco where independent trainers do operate their own personal training businesses within a facility. The trainer has to pay the facility by the hour, just like you would pay by the hour for your trainer or whatever your time frame is. But they also charge a small nominal fee for using the facility, because in this particular facility, they also allow you, as long as you're active with a personal trainer, you can come in on your own, execute the workout that your personal trainer gave you. So you can actually access the facility. They're big enough. They're like a big box gym for personal training. But you can go in there a day or two on your own and actually do the workout that your personal personal trainer gave you, because they trained you on a certain set of equipment, you know the layout, and they give you an opportunity to do that. So there's I want to say the last I saw is like $5 a month, but you're also working with a personal trainer from that standpoint. And back to the point, if you have a partner with you, even better, because now you have accountability. And you said, Wendy, it is more fun. You have a shared experience with somebody else that is doing the same thing for hopefully the same relative goals as you. And that's what makes it work. It's hard to, as a personal trainer, work with two people, two different fitness levels, two different goals at the same time. It's possible. It's not impossible, but it's a little bit more work.
I find it fun. It's challenging, but every day was always something different, and never got boring. I mean, you're tired at the end of the day because you're having to be on, and you have to make sure that these people are not waiting for you. So that's also very important. And Ken, the reason why you were sore is because I don't let you cheat. So I'm very, very particular about your proper 5 kinetic chain checkpoints and tempo. So just keep that in mind when you're working with your clients. But before we get into the next comparison, I just want to say that this episode of Random Fit is brought to you by NASM One, the membership for trainers and coaches. Members enjoy unlimited access to hundreds of career resources. So get the Edge app to schedule and program clients, enjoy half off all certifications and specializations, access free CEUs, and more. All of this for just $35 a month. Go to nasm.org/membership to learn more about NASM One. And on Random Fit, Ken and I are talking about small studios and big gains. So myself, Wendy Batts, and Ken, we're just going into some of our experiences. Again, Ken owns his own training facility. I work out of one. We do have memberships as well, Ken. I know you said that some do, some don't, but we do that too because people like myself travel a lot. So I want them to be able to have access to it. Now, if they just come in when I'm there, they don't have to pay a membership. It's just something if they want to come in on their own, they can, but it's not required. And to your point, the membership is a lot lower because our sessions are higher. And the way that we work it out is we give a percentage of every one of our training sessions to the gym itself. So instead of renting space or something like that, it may be percentage wise too. And they keep track of everyone that comes through the door. So you can't get out of paying, but it's also something where they just take it out and then we get paid every 2 weeks for somebody to come in. And that's where, if you are going to work in a studio, you want to make sure that your payment makes sense. Like there's certain percentages. They may take something lower out of mine because they want my clientele to be in there so they can say that all these people come in. They may take a higher percentage of somebody else. It's all negotiation and how you play that out. But I think it's important, Ken, to kind of talk about some advantages and disadvantages, because big box gyms, there's a really big one that a lot of people go to where they have swimming pools, they have slides, they have spa treatments, and you can get your nails done and you can go and have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, so you can meet with your peeps afterwards. They have a ton of different classes that are out there. It's I think a pretty steep payment that you're also providing to this gym. But what is it that you want out of your gym? And if it's something that's very targeted, then I would tell you to maybe look into the smaller studios. If you want it very personalized and very targeted for whatever it is, and you don't care about all the amenities, then a small studio may be something that may be more beneficial to you. But if you want it just to be where you can come in with your friends, you can take some classes, you can work out, you can shower, and then have your spa treatment, the other one may be a better resource for you, because there are some major things that you can get out of that that's just outside of lifting weights.
Yeah, the amenity deal is it's hard to pass. I mean, I've considered joining a gym just from the standpoint.
Oh, I used to join that gym, by the way.
Yeah, well, from the vantage point, like you talk about, there's one down the street, and they have a cold plunge. They have infrared sauna. And there's another one that has a pool and the other things that, on an off day. Basketball courts are huge. So from that standpoint, like I said, I have clients that work out with me in my facility for the training, but they'll go to the other facility because they can go there. I mean, I think it was like $200 a month or $180 a month or something like that. and they can go there, get a workout, take a shower. They can sit in the sauna. They can get, go swim, and they can do something different every day. And that was the big point for them. It's like, yeah, I use a pool. I don't use it every day, but it's there if I want it, and I'll get in there at least once a week. And then the sauna, those type of amenities, it's hard to pass up, and they're definitely a part of it. But then if you can also, from the convenience factor, when it comes to everything under one roof, that I can get a workout, I can shower up, get ready for work, and go straight to work. I don't have to, like, if you're at my facility, a lot of people are at the end of their workout at 7 o'clock. They're running home, taking a shower, getting the kids ready, whatever it is, and then they have to go to work. So those type of things are hard to pass up especially when you look at the convenience factor. But it also depends, because I also have clients that they live farther away, but they'll join the gym or they'll come to my facility because it's close to where they work. So everybody's got a different reason for going to a small studio or a bigger facility. Just depends on their lifestyle and how compatible is fitness and wellness and performance with how the other aspects of their life can work into it.
Well, and I think another one, and this is one of the reasons why I joined a bigger gym when I first moved here too, is, when I had a kid, I would want to go work out. Now I could work out where I live, but I didn't want a change of environment, change of scenery. I also just needed to get out of my house, but I had a child. So this facility was smaller. It's not some of the ones that I was telling you about, but they also had childcare, and it was all open. So I could actually see my kid too while I was working out, and they could come and grab me should something happen. And so that was also important, because sometimes you just need a break and you want to have 30, 45 or an hour, like whatever time to yourself in order to do something for you. And it's not always convenient. So that was definitely a big plus and worth the cost but they had everything from even towel service. You pay an extra $5 a month and you get your towel when you walk in, or you just brought your own, and that would take the price down. So it was actually very interesting. But the one thing too, as a trainer, that I've noticed, and again, if you are a trainer and you're trying to think, okay, what could we teach a business class? And this is one of the things, but when you are going into a bigger gym, you may have a set price, and you're only going to get paid when you have training. And when you're not training, you need to be on the floor cleaning or doing something, and you're getting paid minimal amount of money, but you have to be there for a certain amount of time. So like, you have to be there for 8 hours, and you may only have 2 or 3 personal training sessions that are scheduled. But you're slotted for that amount of time. And unfortunately, You're not making a lot of money when you're not training. And so what ends up happening is there are a lot of people that are saying you have a sales quota that you need to meet. So you're constantly going up, and you may be nagging someone that doesn't want a trainer, or you're trying to tell someone that they need a trainer because you're seeing something, or you're offering help. And that sometimes doesn't make people feel well, because they feel like they're pressuring these people to come in for a training session, versus having just the membership department, when they sign up, say, hey, you get some free training, and this is like some of the trainers that are out there and why they're good for you. When you're in a smaller facility, it doesn't work that way. Usually in a small studio, you are on your own. You are kind of your own marketing if that studio isn't marketing their business. So you have to be able to get on Instagram or get on social media, or go to your community and let them know where you work and how much you are and why they need to come and see you. So you kind of have to really build your business with inside of that business. However, you are at that facility only when you have your own sessions. So you can do stuff and come back and then do whatever you need to do. So you're not stuck within that timeline of being there. So, and you probably are going to take home a little bit more money in a smaller studio too, because that negotiation that you did hopefully is going to be worthwhile.
Yeah. And I think, well, back in the day, I was in management, so fitness management. So as the fitness manager, my job was to run the fitness department. And to put some context to what you said, Wendy, there's a lot of trainers too that they're getting their feet wet. They're just diving into the industry. And if you're still learning the ropes, you just got your personal training certification, and you need some guidance, you need some mentorship, this is where going to a big box gym is an advantage. So from that vantage point, I'll say interview as a personal interview your fitness management or whoever your educational lead is. And if this person has the education, certification, the experience that you're looking for, then I say go for the big box gym, build up your business, learn the ropes, get some get some clientele, whatever your compensation plan is working for these bigger facilities, and get better. And I'll say that's how I got my feet wet within the industry. I'd gotten my first certification. I was new, I had gotten my degree, but the emphasis was in corporate wellness. So, but it still had the degree was in exercise science, but working with people, that was totally new to me. I know you had a different startup when it came to working with people, Wendy, because you worked in a training facility. You were told what to do, how to do it with your athletes. For me, I had to learn everything on my own, right? So it's like I understood muscles, origins, insertions, actions, all of that. But taking somebody through a workout, it's like, okay, here's the seated chest press machine. Here's where you adjust the seat. Here's where you adjust the weight stack. Here's the motion. Give me 15, right? But it took a while to kind of come up with, okay, relating to people and talking to people. So I say there is a lot of advantage for the new trainer to go into a bigger facility, be amongst other personal trainers, see what the fitness management or whatever their educational support is, and learn from that. And then when you're ready to spread your wings and go off on your own and open up your own facility or work at a personal training studio, then you can take what you've learned, other certifications that you might accumulate over time, and then use it for you, and then train who you want to train when you want to train them. But if you're trying to learn the field, there's a lot to be said for working in a facility that has maybe 10, 12 other trainers in there, so you can see how other people do it, learn from their mistakes as well as their successes. And when you're ready to do things on your own, or you stay there, if you like where you work and you like the amenities and you like what you have access to, there's plenty of career personal trainers that I know that stay within that corporate environment. So it works for other trainers as well.
Yeah, and there are some really good trainers in some of these big box gyms. I mean, I know a lot of our master instructors. One that I married worked in a big box gym, and one guy who's now made it up the reins at NASM. They actually worked together before they came over to NASM solely, and they're completely out of the gym now. But you can learn from so many trainers out there, but you have to find the one that actually works with your type of thought process. You have your same methodologies. Hopefully, if you're NASM certified, you're finding NASM trainers that are following the model to help you understand how do you program, how do you go from one person to another, how are you keeping track of your books. And so there is that as well. Now you can still find that in smaller studios. I mean, obviously, if you went to Ken's facility, he will probably have people that you can shadow and work with to get the ropes down as well. I know I used to mentor people all the time. I just don't have the time anymore, and I feel bad because I'm in and out and I'm doing more manual therapy, and then I'm handing them to the trainers because there are certain people that need more hands-on stuff, and I'm licensed to do that. So that's also too where you start to really build your relationships within the gyms and facilities, whether they're the big box or smaller studios. But if you're kind of on the fence of what to do, hopefully just rewind, be kind and rewind, listen to what we're saying, because I've been in both. And I loved working in the big box gym. I got to know the membership department. They told everyone that I was training them because to build my business, trained them for free. And it was like, listen, I want people to see you on the floor. I want them to see me on the floor working with you. And every time somebody new came in, they're like, she's my trainer. I can barely walk today. And it wasn't that I put them through something hard. I just challenged them in different ways. But it was interesting because my books were built within 2 months. And then I had to tell them I could no longer train them for free because I didn't have time. But it was you just have to be smart in the way you look at it. And I love the small studio now. It is way more private. I enjoy it. I'm at that point in my life where I don't have to market. It took a the time, but it's also one of those things that, people are always watching you, whether they're in the big box gym or the smaller gyms, and you can really be impactful either way. But there are advantages and disadvantages to both. But small studios, I do think, have big gains, hence the topic,
Hence the
because
topic.
it is sometimes a little bit more of a quality versus just the quantity of people. And just depends on the way that you work.
Totally. And again, you and I started talking about this, Wendy, because there were people that they don't know about boutique or smaller facilities and what they have to offer. And if you are looking for a facility, keep in mind that, again, what are you looking for? Are you really going to, the 80-20 principle, you're going to get 80% of your results from 20% of the things, the features that you that you use. So with that being said, are you going to use all the amenities? I mean, how many times have I've been a part of a gym or a health club that has the pool and all that, and I can count on one hand how many times I actually use everything that I said I was going to use by joining that facility or being a personal trainer at that facility. So I think for a lot of people looking for a place, looking for a person to take them through their fitness goals, and they're looking at it's easy to get wowed by the bells and whistles of some of these facilities, but you have to be honest with yourself and the fact, are you going to use everything? They're nice, and if they're available to you, great, take advantage of it. But if not, then look at what you're really going to use, or benefit from, which is the guidance of a personal trainer when it comes to seeing realizing your results.
Mm-hmm.
So, Wendy, thanks for sharing your insight and your experience. I always pull out a couple new Wendy facts when we do these episodes.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but yes.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for listening to both Wendy Batts and I, Ken Miller, here on Random Fit, as far as talking about small studios and big gains. If you like what you heard, let us know what else you'd like for us to talk about here on Random Fit. But follow, subscribe, give us a 5 out of 5 if you can. Download, and more importantly, share this wonderful podcast that we've got going on. But until next time, everybody, take care and be well.